Hi, we are Rob and Ali sharing with you our passion of all things cruise and travel. Now, one of the things the worst things to do on board your cruise ship is to waste time.
Especially if you're on a shorter cruise. Absolutely. Man, if you're on a longer cruise, you do not want to waste time. I don't anyway.
Well, if you're like us, we spend months planning everything and then you go on board and you can kind of just waste so many hours doing some of these things. So these are some of the tips we're going to share with you where hopefully you will make the best use of all your time while you're on vacation cruising. These are in no particular order. They're just as we thought of them.
Yeah, that's holiday for our UK friends.
Oh, vacation, holiday. Yes. Sorry. Okay, so one of the things we both actually do like to go along to the art auctions. We just find them a little bit of fun and we go and have a look at them. And
We've got quite a few. So we've bought a few pieces over the years.
Yeah. But what we did on the last cruise was we found that we sat through one of these auctions. And do you know what? We realised that we had spent 3 hours whilst they went through the spiel. They
missed
put
lunch.
them out. We missed lunch.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about
We
that.
then missed a quiz and we were just like, oh, don't do that again. So we just thought we'd give you a little bit of a heads up that sometimes these things can go on and on and on without you realising it. They're fun to go along. You get your free little bit of champagne. Yeah. They find out a little bit about the art, but you know, once they get going, it's time for you to get going because they come on. They'll start the bidding, and really, it's all a little bit of nonsense, really, isn't it? Anyway, it's ours. So maybe go along, have a little nosy.
Look, what I would say is, if there's something that you like, generally speaking, you can speak to them outside of the auction, and you can buy it outside of the auction. Have a look around the gallery. If there's something you like, have a chat to them. You can generally buy it without attending the auction.
There's always a bottom price.
Yeah,
and
they'll generally tell it you too.
Give you that bottom price anyway. It's just the auction's a little bit of fun to while away some time, but not 3 hours. We were a bit miffed by that, so that's our first one for you. Embarkation time. I'll leave that one to you because you always do the embarkation, booking the earliest time possible.
Yes, so as soon as you get the ability to be able to book your embarkation time, our suggestion was, I mean, this is subject to flights and obviously a lot of other things, but we always like to get the earliest embarkation time. That way we can get through, get on board and have our lunch and explore the ship. The other thing about getting an early embarkation time is if they are running a little bit behind, it tends to sort of be cumulative. And it's a bit like going to the doctors in the afternoon. It's like
bigger and bigger.
You know, so if you have a later embarkation time, it's likely to be even later, and that interferes with your day. Sometimes we've been on a cruise ship where we didn't get on until later on, and all the buffet and all the food was closed, and then you have to find something to eat. It's just,
You've just seemed to. It feels like you've wasted some time.
Get your holidays started early.
Yeah. And the other thing is, we have got another video. Check that one out, please. It's about what to do on your first day or what to do on embarkation day to make the most of that day. You want to cram as much.
It is the
start of your holiday. Use it as a day's holiday. So we've packed all that in for you. But essentially, it's things like book in as many things as you can as early on as you can. Get it all out the way. Yeah. Saves the queues.
Watch Ali's unpacking as well. That'll save you some time.
Oh, well, that was the next one. So we have got another video on this as well, which is how to pack to unpack. This is my favourite trick ever. And I don't know why everybody doesn't pack like this, but it is use cubes. If you pack everything in cubes, so you organise yourself when you're packing, so your socks and underwear's in one, your t-shirts is in another cube, and so on.
And coat hangers, everything on coat hangers, just take it straight out, hang it in the wardrobe.
Straight out in the wardrobe, everything in cubes. So I've got my suntan lotions and everything that go for a day out. That's in a cube that just goes straight in my bag. I unpack. It goes into the drawers. I don't even take it out of the cubes. I live out of those cubes. When it's dirty, it goes in the washing basket. It's a dream.
And
It'll save you hours packing and unpacking.
And you know what I do as well is that it's a bit of a chore, but I iron everything before I go, and then put it in the case or the suit carrier at the last minute. That way, even if it needs ironing on the ship, it really just needs a quick once over.
Steam irons everything so it's crisp.
Yep. That's to avoid spending time in the laundry on the ship.
Buy polyester, darling. Take it out the wash and off the line and hang it up. Anyway.
What else we got?
Maybe that should be a life hack. Never iron again. Okay, another top tip for you to save time is to download your app. All the cruises now have apps on your phone which will show you what's going on, the dining options, even what's on the menu. You can actually decide what you're going to have hours in advance.
Well, some of them you can actually book things in advance as well. For the the Royal Caribbean one, for example, you can book the shows. You can book some of the shows.
Yes.
You can book the your dining different times. You can book your specialty, and I think you can do that on a few more of them now. So you can book all that stuff before you even get on the ship.
Now, what we've also found, wait for this one, when you are on the ship, that is normally when you connect to the ship's Wi-Fi. So as soon as you get on the ship, that's when you connect. But while you're waiting in the queue from the terminal, before you've even got on the ship, it just depends how far the terminal is from the ship and how far that's going to connect. And you can actually, while you're in the queue, beat everybody to it and start booking in those restaurants and seeing if there's anything on as soon as you get on the ship.
You know, it's not just the restaurants as well, because and this may change, but as it stands at the moment with Carnival, for example, you cannot book your shore tours until you're on the ship with Carnival. If you can get your signal while you're actually in the terminal, get ahead of the game, book your shore tours, saves you going to the shore tours desk when you get on board.
Absolutely, do something while you're in the queue. Isn't that just the best tip ever? Okay then, so the other thing is guest services. Now, guest services is usually open 24 hours a day.
Fantastic
isn't
people.
it?
They are really helpful. I've never had a bad response from guest services, but that's not what you're going to say, I know. So.
Well, I'm going to say for time wasting, queuing up in peak times, it's just, you're just wasting your holiday. Normally things are not that urgent that you can't just wait until. Now, the times that they get quieter tend to be obviously very early in the morning. So if you're an early riser, whiz down, go and get whatever you need done. Lunchtime, not lunchtimes, meal times. So the peak meal times tends to be quieter. Everybody's busy eating. You can tend to get to guest services without much of a queue. And what we always do is stagger home from a night out and visit desk services at about midnight.
And that's when I get my daily planner for the next day. The in paper version.
He likes the paper version as well as the app, yeah.
Because that way we can put it up on the website for you guys to see.
Yeah. So blurry-eyed and late at night, but we do always get the best service because there's only us and the attendant there to look after us.
You generally end up having a chat with them for the next half hour. That's
Maybe that's why we've always had good service, because they're just like, there's only us and they're having a chat. Okay, so a next tip is book your packages and your tours before you cruise. So check them out. Apart from saving you time, they save you money as well, don't they? So on packages, we're looking at things like your Wi-Fi package, internet package, whatever I'm trying to say, that one. If you need to use your internet.
Internet, yes.
If you need to use your internet, book that package ahead of time. Those queues go on forever as everybody goes on board and tries to get it on all done, and then they don't know how to do it and somebody has to show them how to do it. Get it all sorted before you board. And then things like your tours and all that kind of stuff, anything you can book in advance, check on the website of your cruise and do as much as you can up front. Yeah. Save you a heap of time. What about using your phone in the cabin? Seems very old-fashioned these days, doesn't it, to pick up a phone and dial?
You do have phones in the cabin, though. You're absolutely right. And there's a lot of things that you can do from your phone in your cabin. If you need anything from your steward, you can pick your phone up, save wandering up and down the hallways trying to find them.
So it's like extra pillows and towels and stuff like that.
Even things just to say, if you've got a simple question from guest services, you may hold on the phone for a little while if they're already dealing with people, but it's going to be a lot quicker than standing in that queue if you just got a simple question.
Well, and you know, we heard some people had, on one of the cruises we were on, their bathrooms were flooded. They got a little bit flooded. So the water didn't come out into the room, but their bathrooms got flooded and they threw the towels and stuff on. And they waited. They waited in the cabin. They went to try and look for the stewards and things. And it's like, if it's not going to do any harm to any of your stuff, give them a call, report it, off you go, leave it.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time on things like that. Just use the phone and report things.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing is, this is yours. So this is tender tickets. I always leave Rob to do this because this is just such a lot of faffing around. More patient than I am.
It sort of differs between cruise lines, but it's essentially the same. If you don't have a tour book, then you get a tender ticket either the day before or on the morning of the port, and the higher your number your tender ticket, which is the later you get to get it, is the later you'll get off and the longer you will wait around. So if you can, get there early, get your tender ticket, and you will get off early and less waiting around. The other option is, and a lot of cruise lines are doing this these days, I know Carnival do Faster to the Fun and Royal Caribbean doing the Key, and a few other cruise lines do different sort of programs. You've got to pay for them, but you get priority tender service. So if you want to go, and you get other benefits as well, but if you want to go for one of these programs, you will get priority tender. You don't need to line up and get your tender tickets. You don't need to line up to get on the tenders. You just turn up, get on the tender, and away you go. Definitely worth a consideration, especially with the other things that you're getting included.
Bit of a VIP first class treatment,
absolutely.
I think. My takeaway from the tender process is you know from the guide when your port days are going to be. They normally release the tender tickets the day before at a certain time. So you have to know, even the day before that, when they're going to release them. So either ask desk services or listen out for the bing bong, because they normally announce it, don't they? And say, and then you have to slot that in to your day's activities to make sure that you get there early and that you can pick the time that you want. So that's the takeaway, is do it well in advance.
Yes.
This one is going to sound like a no-brainer, but rest assured, so many people do not do this. And that is, plan out your port days in advance at home. Do your homework. There's so many people who just arrive at the port day and say, we're just going to wing it. We're just going to have a walk around and see what happens. It sounds very romantic and nice just to get off and just wander around. But you know, some of these ports are ports. They're working ports. You can't just wander around. There's nothing there. They're just dirty sort of cities and things. Or you'll have gangs and gangs of taxi drivers and little minibus drivers there, all vying for your attention and trying to give you a tour.
Port, but yeah.
That's great if you have an idea of what you want to do. Yeah. How would you know whether you're going to get good value for money, whether you're going to make the most of your day there, unless you know a bit in advance?
Look, there are plenty of resources for researching different ports. YouTube, for example, we've done some, but there's plenty of other people that have done YouTube videos on ports. Check it out. Look at what people have done.
I am marvellous on their port days.
Check it all out. Not just us. Obviously, check us out, but check it all out.
Plenty of others.
Absolutely. Look at what and see what you think might interest you, rather than working it out on the day and potentially missing out on something.
Yes.
Look, we've done it ourselves. We've got back. We've been having dinner with people, and they've said, "I've done this today. It was a fabulous tour. We did this," and we've gone,
we didn't even look at that.
Should have done that.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, the other thing is, if you haven't well planned it out, you always have that fear factor that you're not going to get back on board the ship in time.
Oh, it scares
so you
me.
kind of go, oh, I'm not going to do that because I'm not off the ship quick enough, or I don't think we've got enough time, or we've fannied about that long that we haven't got time now. So get out there, know what you're going to do, go for it, and be back plenty of time.
Another great British expression. Okay, what else you got for us?
Okay, so
Moving swiftly on.
we were talking about desk services, but you know,
Guest services.
what did I just say?
Desk.
Desk. Okay, guest services. Sorry. We were talking about guest services quite a bit here, but of course that is where a lot of the queues occur. So just bear in mind that there's things you can use your app, can't you, for things like checking up on your balance. So you should do that regularly anyway. Make sure that all the drinks and things are
Make
properly
sure
on
it's
the bill.
The mistakes do happen. Best will in the world, and
Thousands
it
of
will be
people.
rectified.
Yes.
But so just look, if a mistake does happen, please be respectful. It will be sorted with you
Yeah.
being nice, without being nasty.
But you can use, what I'm saying is you can use your app rather than
Yeah.
going to guest services every other
Actually,
5 minutes.
Yeah, one of the big things that you can do for that, though, if you have a cash account, you will need to top up your cash account every so often, unless you put a load of money on to start with. But you'll need to top it up. A lot of the cruise ships now have machines like ATM machines that you can actually put the money onto your account. You just put your money straight in there, saves queuing up at guest services. That's the way to go.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And the other one is, so you know now that a lot of these ships have these fantastic amenities. We've had the pleasure of partaking in some of them. So you've got like zip lines and we haven't done the wave machine, wave thing. Yeah, there's those. There's the big water slides, all those amenities. We did the bumper cars. Woohoo!
We did.
You're always going to get queues for things like this. It's just unavoidable. It's like going to Disneyland or something. There's just going to be queues. However, on port days, it's going to be quieter. The majority of the ship disembarks, and the majority go in the morning. People head off in the morning, gets quieter by the afternoon. So although we've said plan your day to make the most of your days in port, if you've got a longer holiday, like 7 days, 10 days, 14 days, you may just want to consider...
Or if there's a port that you're not bothered about getting off at.
Yeah, you've been 100 times and you're not really bothered. Consider having just half a day off, maybe the full day off. And especially if you're going to do half a day, think about going in the afternoon, getting off the ship in the afternoon, and spending the morning and whiz round all those attractions that you want to do and just cram them all in to your, you can imagine, can't you? Have an adventure day where you just do everything that's one big adventure. That will save you heaps of time queuing up.
Good tip.
It is. Anytime dining. What's your experience been on anytime dining?
If you do choose anytime dining, what I would do is I would suggest maybe going outside of the peak time. So the peak time is probably between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night. So if you can go earlier than 6 or after 8, chances are you will have a lot less queuing, and you'll probably get served a lot quicker as well because it's outside of that peak dining period.
Another thing not to waste your time is if you do book, say you book a 7 o'clock on anytime dining, most of the apps will now tell you that you will have maybe a 30-minute wait.
Good point. Yeah.
So it's a mindset. Try not to think this is a 30-minute queuing up time.
No, it's 30-minute cocktail hour.
Yes, check your app, see who's playing where. Sometimes there's a piano, there's violins playing somewhere. Could be a comedy act on. You could zip in and just spend 20 minutes watching a comedy act. There's so many options. Check your app and use that half an hour or whatever that time wisely. Don't feel that you just have to sit there and just wait in nothingness. No. That's what we did. We went and we did lots of exciting things. Right, okay then. Why do you think I'm wasting time? Stop time wasting. I'm not time wasting. I'm giving lots and lots of good advice here. Lunch in the buffet. Lunch in the buffet, obviously in lunch times, can cause huge queues, and especially trying to find a table. So you kind of, people get their food, they spend time wandering around. By the time they find a table that's been cleaned up, the food's gone cold, and it's just a horrible experience for everybody, and people's tempers start to get a little bit frayed. What we would suggest that you do is that you do a recce around that area and find yourself a nice little space, maybe off the beaten track. It could be a floor above, floor below, but it'll be quicker to get your food and nip to that, maybe the other side of the ship, and find yourself a quieter table and chairs or whatever to just have your dining
or
there.
out in one of the bars. There's generally a bar outside of one of the dining areas that you can find a table there.
Take it outside and just eat outside and in the open air. That'll save you some time wandering around and actually make your lunch a lot more pleasant.
It will.
On port days, as we were saying about making the most of your port day, whether you're going to get off or whether you're going to do that adventure day as we suggested, consider room service for breakfast. We've had room service. It's not normally as good a quality as what you would get in the dining room, but it was certainly a handsome enough breakfast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was good. We got everything that we ordered. Normally there's a huge selection you can order from, and that'll obviously just come to your room. You'll book a time for it.
Yeah.
So whilst you're getting ready, that breakfast can come. You can eat your breakfast, finish getting ready, and off you go.
True.
And you've saved the queues and maybe quite a bit of stress as well. It's quite a leisurely way of doing it, I have to say. Another massive tip, this is probably one of the biggest tips that we can give you, and this is get orientated on the first day that you're on board your cruise ship. People wander round and round and round, and people just go, I've been on here 5 days and I still don't know whether I'm coming or going.
Yeah. Mainly your main places.
I thought you were going to say mainly you.
The main places that you're going to visit, things like your restaurants, things like your bars, things like where the atrium is,
theatre,
all of those things. Work out your route and just write it down stick it on the back of your cabin. So restaurants left, and then restaurants left, theatre right. So when you come out of your cabin, you know which way to turn.
You know whether you're coming or going.
Number of times we've been down at one end of the ship and gone, we're at the wrong end of the ship.
Absolutely. So that's a great tip. Just post-it note.
Yeah, restaurants this way, theatre this way.
The other great tip about knowing where everything is use the atrium. Pretty much every ship has what they call an atrium. So that's your open area that is normally goes over 1 or 2 floors. That's the space that you should head to, that you will then get orientated as to which way's the theatre, casino, bars, which way's the restaurants, blah de blah, and then going up, which way's the pool.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the way every ship is organised.
Generally speaking, theatre's at the front of the ship, food's at the back of the ship, pools are up.
Pools are up at the top. This will save you a lot of time.
Okay.
And the very, very final one to share with you is make the most of Disembarkation Day.
Or Debarkation Day, as it's called these days. But it's not my favourite because obviously you're getting off the ship, but I, like everybody I suppose, does not want to get off the ship unless you have to if you've got a flight or something. So try and get the latest possible debarkation. Now, if your tickets that come and they say you're getting off early, don't be afraid to go to guest services and ask them for a later one. What we love to do on Debarkation Day, unless we've got a flight to catch or something like that, is we love to get the latest possible time off. This does a number of things. One, it allows us to have a leisurely breakfast. It allows us to get some final photographs and just take in the last of the ship. But what it also allows us to do is that everybody else's cases have gone from the baggage lounge when we get into the terminal, and there's generally just our cases left. So we go straight to our cases, no messing around trying to find them, and just wheel it off. There's no queues going through customs. There's no queues going through. We just walk straight through and to the car.
It has to be one of our pet hates is actually queuing to get off.
No.
To queue to get off and end your holiday. Like, no.
Get the latest debarkation time and do that. All right, so actually we're going to wrap it up here. So
yes, we will.
If you've liked this video, please hit like. As usual, please
That's been
subscribe.
Fun. That has been fun. We hope you make the best of every second of your cruise,
She
please.
never likes me. Right,
Sorry.
check out some of our other videos. I say, if you've liked this video, and then she'll chip in with something else. Please consider subscribing, and if you want to see any more of our videos, hit the notification button. In the meantime, as we always say, thanks for watching, take care, happy cruising, and we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Oh. Sorry for interrupting.
Bye-bye.